This is a podcast about just opinions.
Hey, yo, this is what it is. This is what I think.
We all have kind of outlandish takes.
Like, don't at me.
If there's other free-form stuff that comes with it, we cover that too.
Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on. Pause.
All right, man. What is this, episode 12?
I lost track. But that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. That means it's pretty regular, right?
We up there. I know we in the double digits, man. This episode something. Welcome to Don't At Me. We are back again. Who we got in here today, man? We got Alan.
James Lucas.
I love how this nigga always gives his government.
Gotta get it full one.
Yeah.
Gotta go full name, right? Alan was on the last Play It By Ear. We did a little music, underrated, overrated, or properly rated. Talked about how we listen to albums and whatnot. Really good one. Y'all should give it a listen. But we figured let's get, outside of the music world and just kind of into all the craziness that goes into our day-to-day. So let's bring you on Don't At Me is what we said.
All right.
So what we do is we just – Alan's laughing. He's like, that was too much of an intro. But, hey, I had to hype it up. But look, we usually come in with the docket, Chance, would you like to explain the docket?
So the docket is just like literally a list of a bunch of like gripes.
Mm-hmm.
It's no real structure, anything to it. It's just like, yo, if something comes across your mind, you like, yeah, that's some shit, you know what I'm saying?
Docket.
Like, gotta throw it on the docket.
All right.
I know, like last week, I was talking about like open mics, how they underrated. You know what I mean? Like,
that was a
just
docket
like,
list,
that was just something on the docket. So.
But the reason I bring that up, you probably don't have a docket, right?
Of my life, or what do you mean?
Just like a list of like, hey, I'm gonna bring these things to
things
talk about for the pod. Did you bring a list?
No, I did not. So.
But I do remember the last time we were just in the group chat. We were going back and forth. That might be something we can hop into.
Sure.
So
I'll be down for that.
Yeah, just like throwing a bunch of gripes and shit.
So we'll get into that. We'll find a natural way to segue into relationships and things like that. Let's go ahead and start off with this one. This is one that I left on the docket last week.
Mm-hmm.
When people say like life hacks, I realize like I really gravitate towards life hacks, but I think it's because I'm kind of like OCD in a lot of ways. So life hacks are really just OCD coping mechanisms. I feel like they're just kind of made for OCD people.
Yeah,
like the only people that really like put them into implementation and actually use them regularly are like the weird people like me.
Well, like a lot of people use life hacks and like don't even know they're like really using them, especially like nowadays because you get everything from the fucking internet.
On your phone,
Right,
everything's
I see
just
life
automatic.
hacks a lot, and I'm like, that would be cool, and then I just totally never remember to use it ever.
Right.
Again,
See, the OCD in me is like, I'm going to add this to a
I
list of
usually
things
take
I'm
a
going to read
screenshot
later.
on my phone and then never look at it again.
Until I'm like deleting photos, I'm like, fuck this photo.
Man, like I got so many photos of my shit just from like screenshots. It's like stupid ridiculous. But like, what kind of life hacks you mean?
Just like any, like I think about, maybe it's not even life hacks, but it's just being mindful. But I think of the way that I cook, right? As I'm finishing something up, I'll rinse the dish and put it in the dishwasher, and like as I go through that, like I'm knocking shit out. I'm doing the cleanup while I'm doing the cooking.
Smart.
So once the food's done, that's it. You just got to rinse your plate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, I mean, that's not maybe like a life hack, but that's like, you know what I mean? But that's right up the alley.
Nigga,
of like
that's just managing your time wisely. What the fuck?
I should have written down maybe some specific examples in the docket, but I mean, think about it. I have shoes in my car because I'm like,
that's a life hack, y'all. Shoes in your car.
Well, but I'm like, look, if I want to, if I need to go to the gym, I need to go to the gym. I have my gym shoes in there. That's really it, though,
Smart.
But then we have all the mics and stuff in my trunk. I shouldn't be saying this in public. People are like, this is excellent
my
equipment. Trust me.
Is
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it's just being mindful. But I feel like life hack articles and shit like that in general are more so for the minds like mine that like I plan all that stupid little shit out, Like those are the kind of people that eat it up. Like the ones that see it, they're just like, that's cool. Ideally, I would do that. I'm the one like, I'm adding this to a list so don't forget to do it later.
right.
Life hacks.
So how often do you go back and check your life
Yeah,
hacks?
how often do you go through the list?
It's not that I have a list of life
Like
hacks.
I'd have to set like a weekly reminder, look at the life hack list.
Not necessarily.
Implement these soon.
Not that I necessarily have a list of life hacks, but like Safari articles, like browser article. Like you'll leave some open, like okay, I'm gonna read
for
this
sure.
later.
Throw them in your favorites.
Yeah,
I
anytime
do
I
that
open
shit.
something in the news app,
nice,
I'm like
yeah.
open in Safari. I just leave that shit open.
Yeah.
So for like later reference. So not necessarily the list. Maybe the Safari browser itself is the life hacks list. I don't know.
I'll do that with articles I want to read later. I'll just open a new tab and leave it there. And
Yeah, for sure. I do that shit all the time.
Hey, so y'all's boy Josh Gordon out again.
yeah, man. I
Hey,
don't really
man.
know what's
They
going
put him
on
in the
with
Mecca
that.
though. They put him in Seattle, and they're like, he'll figure it out, man. Trust me.
I don't know. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yo, some people
but-
just hard headed, bro. Like it's just, I mean, that's just like what it is, bro. It's like some people just like they don't. I don't know. They got like something good going for them, and they just don't know how to like hold on to it.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is. And I mean, Josh has always been like a cool dude, like back in high school and shit. Like, I mean, he was just like he wasn't even like the the way that they portray him nowadays and shit like that. But I guess what I'm saying, you get a little money, bro. Like, you just don't know what to do. You just makes dumb decisions, man.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it for him, like because the nigga talented as shit,
Mm-hmm.
Probably like one of the best wide receivers like of this era. But shit. All right.
It's different this time because it was PEDs and substances of abuse.
Yeah.
So I could, I mean, if you're doing PEDs, that's kind of like on you.
Yeah.
The substances, it would be kind of like, that sucks if he just smoked one joint and like that was like the final straw in like the substance of abuse category.
Right.
And it's like, damn, like, oh, what I don't even know if I would like to know specifics. I don't know if he's allowed to drink, but like, what if like he had like one drink because it's Thanksgiving or something?
Right.
Like,
But I mean, like,
what is the threshold?
at the same time, I don't know. Like I said, man, because it goes like he's had so many chances. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the leagues gave him so many chances.
For sure.
But then, like at the same time, I'm thinking like the league's kind of a little too harsh on like shit like that. But
Right.
I don't know. It's a shitty situation either way it goes. But I mean, come on, like you've had that many chances. You know what I'm saying? They threw you on the Pats, and then the Seahawks. Come on, fam, you
know.
came up. Like,
Yeah.
I wish we would have seen like 2013 Josh Gordon again. It sucks that we won't.
never.
Hey,
I would
so
never see him in the league.
6'9".
Oh, okay, so they thought this nigga was gonna get off, man. And I'm glad that like that he didn't, bro. Like I'm glad that they gave him the extra 13 months or whatever the fuck. Like he needed to learn his lesson, for real. And these kids also need to learn their lessons that you can't be out here snitching, bro. You can't be out here like paying people to shoot at Chief Keef in
Right.
fucking Midtown, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like in New York City and like doing all this like other reckless ass shit. And then expect to like get off with a slap on the wrist, like fuck.
I feel
you.
like he kind of did though.
And
Get
he
a
was-
slap
yeah,
on
he-
the
he
wrist.
really
How much
did.
time is he getting total?
He got 24. He got sentenced to 24 months. To
Is that
go-
additional to what he already?
No, he already has like 11 months or some shit like that. Like
So basically
time served.
13 more months.
So
and then
13
he'll
more
be
months
out.
he'll be out. That is a
Like
slap
no
on the wrist.
time.
He's very,
That's-
Light, right?
Yeah.
You know why though? Because I think he was an informant from the get go. Like I think he was an industry player.
What? You think he was a
that-
plant?
Bro, because all right, the nigga first song, whatever was Blicky, Nicky got the sticky, what's that shit? Gummo, Gummo, which mind you, I really didn't like till about 2 months ago, and I like didn't stop listening to it for like 3 whole days, nigga. Got the blicky, that shit go spinning through your block like a pop, shove it. That nigga go hard, but.
Fifi went hard too for
Yeah.
a second.
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah, that was the one that they were like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, let's get him in with this. But after that, I mean, shit, he was gone a month later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But going back to Gummo was all right. So that was the video and everything that they had. You know what I'm saying? He got with Shotty and he had all the bloods and shit. They bought all the fucking bandanas and shit for the whole like block. You know what I'm saying? They standing in front of the brownstone. And so that was like the first thing that they had got with. That was the first time they had got with the nigga. The nigga, that was his first hit. Like I don't know if you guys know what the like definition of an industry plan is. It's not like really solidified, but it's people like Billie Eilish, Lizzo, just people who kind of like when they first get on, they got this buzz around them. But it's like, where did this money come from? You know what I'm saying? Like who? Like you're not just like some like independent kid. Like they always got a bullshit story. So like he had the bullshit story, but it's like he went to those guys and was like, "Hey, yo, do this for me." Like it was like literally like a quid pro quo. It was like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo, you know, like help me, you know, get on or
he
whatever."
Got street cred, and he
street cred,
in turn
I'll cash it in.
financed some things for them.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. But doesn't that seem like a fucking like a
Sticky
NYPD?
nut.
Don't that seem like an NYPD move?
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
yo, let's get this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that seems like some police shit. Like from the
His name would
get-go.
be 6ix9ine.
And then the run.
Tekashi.
The run was only a
6ix9ine.
year. It was a year. That shit dropped in 2017. Like November type shit.
Really was weird. Like if you're getting into all the conspiracy stuff, like just how quickly he rose to fame, and it was all social media. I mean, it seemed like that was all I would see.
But isn't
on
that how like
Instagram,
most
it's like-
people
It was the trolling kids.
go
though.
hype overnight?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, but it was.
It was like he
I
had
will
a
say it was
machine
kind of.
also one
behind
thing
him.
I will
Yeah.
say, like
It was, and that's the
that
whole
would
thing
be
with the
like a
industry
very
plan.
expensive use of like your budget if you're like a police department. You're like, all right, we
But
need
not
like
really, 'cause
$100,000.
They didn't need anything. Think about it. They didn't. He didn't need anything. All he had was a song. So
Right.
just think, he could have recorded. Pretty sure he recorded that shit in an hour. You know what I'm saying? That's like $100 at a like nice studio, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can record anywhere. Nigga, we can record it right now. You
He
know what
was
I'm
just
saying?
like, "Hey, just say this shit really fast and hard, like scream it. Nobody will know what you're saying, but it's gonna sound good."
Yo, I mean, because he was already like a musician. He was doing like rock shit though.
So you're saying maybe he got in trouble and he got flipped early.
Got flipped early, yeah. Or was like already just working. Fucking went to the police academy. He just had a wild look to him. And they was like,
Looked
yo,
all friendly and
son,
shit. Remember when he
we're
used to
gonna
look
put you
all
in the
friendly?
special program. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, like I don't know, some Men in Black shit. You know, like got recruited.
23 Jump Street.
23, 69 Jump Street.
69
nigga.
Jump Street.
That's what they called Yo, you gotta get 6ix9ine tattooed on you 69 times, fam. You good. And he didn't have to have shit, bro. He didn't have to have shit in his pocket. Nothing. All he had to do was have that song. Yo, I got a video crew to shoot the video. Y'all just be in the video. You know a bunch of niggas just on the block in Harlem, wherever the fuck they are, like, gonna do that shit, Brooklyn.
Like,
you
yeah, I'll
know?
be in this
He's from
video.
Brooklyn, yeah. Yeah, that was some NYPD shit, man. That was a straight up Rico.
It sounds. I mean,
That was some Donnie Brasco shit, bro. It's gonna be a Martin Scorsese
I can't
movie.
rule it out. I can't rule it out. It's
It's Donnie
possible.
Brasco.
we literally can't prove it. Didn't
We
happen,
can't prove it
so.
did not go down like that.
I mean, these niggas getting 40, 50, life in prison, years, like shit like that. This nigga got 2 years, bro.
Damn, that's what I'm saying. It is kind of fishy.
And he was the key to everything.
Yeah.
He was like the money laundering and shit. Come on, that's like they were starting an empire.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like some John Gotti shit, bro.
Hey, so side note, you didn't get into it when we saw you, but I think we might have talked about it right before we saw you or something like that. But cover bands still suck.
Cover bands?
I feel like cover bands are like, for the most part, kind of like just strange.
I've never been hyped when I was anywhere and they were like, here's a cover
Yeah,
band.
Right.
Like,
I don't
why
know.
does this keep coming across your mind? What
So, because I've been in like a,
cover bands and shit.
Hard
Like,
pivot. I don't know where it's coming from.
I've been at, yeah.
You go to a lot of fucking weddings and shit.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
weddings
yeah.
and, like corporate events and Christmas parties and things like that. But on the flip side, I went to the one that, my company, we had the live music. And that, as cover bands go, they're on the better side, but they're still, come on, Houston, like
Did they
Cheese,
just play various covers of all types of things, or are they covering one
like top
specific
100s,
band?
you know what I
Okay.
mean?
So so a cover band is different than a tribute band. That's right.
Yeah,
tribute
tribute
Okay.
like,
Tribute band is like,
Bad
we
Fish.
only play Guns N'
Yeah.
Roses.
We only play, like Bad Fish is like Salam.
Right,
Salam's,
right. Yeah.
Right. So on the
Guns N'
flip
Roses.
side, went to Emily's Christmas party, and they had a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, this is so much better. Because, I mean, you know, you get the good with the bad. You're going to have some Bruno Mars in there that you don't want to listen to, but you just understand. what y'all trying to do.
That shit's a lot of shit go off, bro.
It's just going to happen, right? So, I mean, yeah, people will dance to it, and then you get kind of suckered into it. But on the flip side, they always seem to play one song. And I'm curious if y'all think...
Cha-cha slide?
Well, you always hear those, right? They'll go through the usual BS. They'll do the cha-cha dance. They'll do the Cupid shuffle. The
Copperhead Road.
wobble. Copperhead Road. So I have a thing about Copperhead Road.
You know what that song's about? That's like one of the first trapping songs.
Copperhead Road?
You talking about selling dope?
He's talking about making moonshine and like, you know, he came back from Vietnam and he couldn't get a job, so he's like started making moonshine on down off Copperhead Road and
What?
yeah.
Oh, wait, I got
Well, I
so
like
much
the
more
song.
And he's like, and then
respect for that song. I love
then
that
the
shit.
feds
Yo.
come in and shut him down. Like,
Always stomping?
yeah, it's like, you know, blah blah blah. Like if you listen
Where
to
the
lyrics
Copperhead
closely,
Road?
yeah.
Yo, I remember
Hey.
the first time hearing that shit. It was at Wild West or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what the fuck?
No,
is
hey,
this?
that song is
I was
throwed.
Like, I was
Hey,
fucking mesmerized.
It goes
I'll
hard.
back that. That's one of like, hey, the white culture we need to be proud of a little bit.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all got that one, fam.
But the reason I bring that up is back when I was in my single days, when I'd be at these weddings, there are like so many different characters that you see doing like the Copperhead Road dancing, right? You see the guy that tries really hard, and he's like really aggressively selling his moves, like stomping a fucking hole into the ground.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at him, and like some people are like, "Oh, cool," and then some are just like rolling their eyes. You've got the ones that know how to do it and just kind of blend in because you're like, "All right, cool, they
What
know how
is
to
the
do it."
dance?
It's
It's
I
like
actually
it's
know
step
it.
dance.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
like
you,
a.
stomp at one
Well,
point
you,
like that,
yeah,
and
you
it's
kind of
the
do like
coldest shit in the
two
world,
steps
bro.
to the
I
right,
didn't know
to
how
the
to
left,
dance.
Oh, and then like
kicks,
some shit,
kicks, feet in front, and then you do like a little stomp to the side, and you rotate like
During the
90
stomp.
degrees,
Remember
right?
Macarena came on last week?
No,
Secret
yes,
Group?
bro. That shit was fun. We didn't even do the weekend recap.
I was drunk. I was just kind of like out there, like moving my hands around.
Yo, Secret Group goes hard, bro.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'll be there all day, bro. I'll
Yeah.
be there from like 7
They were
to
smart.
like
They got
2 o'clock.
multiple rooms, so like you can like kind of just change the scenery without they still getting your money. Like,
Yo, shout out fucking Secret Group, bro, because that shit was fun as fuck.
You know who's
Yeah.
the best Copperhead Road dancer though?
Who?
Like the girl that like doesn't really know how to do it, but like has the courage to go out there and try, but still doesn't get it after like 5 fucking minutes of this country song of everybody doing the exact same steps and they can't figure it out.
Yeah.
That's my favorite girl. I just want to give her a hug and tell her it'll be okay. You know,
Nah, I feel
you're
like
all right.
I felt like that first time, like when we were at like Wild West and shit like that. Who we there with? It was me, you.
Probably like my little brothers or something like that. I don't know.
It was something fucking crazy. And I remember like I was like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Like this goes hard. Like some girl was like, hey, yeah. Like as I was like, yo, teach me.
Copperhead Road.
I was like, yo, teach me. And they was like, yeah, all right. It's like, y'all learned that shit. And I was like, yo, like, we got to play this shit. I was obsessed with that shit for like months after that. Like straight up, every time I like met you guys out, like I was like, yo, we got to hear that Copperhead Road, fam.
Gonna
Has
open
to.
the next podcast with it.
I didn't even know
Oh.
that was like a wedding thing.
Reason I brought it up, the reason I brought all this shit up to begin with, I like
Uh-huh.
DJs because they play a variety of music. But the one song, I'm gonna pose y'all a theory. Is "Return to the Mack" like the most universally loved song like ever?
They played that shit. That fucking Secret Group.
Did they
Yes,
really?
I think it is. I mean, one
Fits
Mar-
into every scenario.
Mark Morrison is British.
He's British
He's black.
as hell. He's
Like,
purple.
yeah. But and like I don't know, like that's a already a good combination to be like worldly. You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
British
right.
black.
Because like you know, like a lot of like British
Idris
black
Elba's
people,
universally accepted
like,
and loved.
Yeah.
They know their lineage
He makes
too.
house music and shit now.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. He has a rap song.
Boosty
Yeah.
or Boasty.
He just does everything.
But yeah, man, I think it is. Like it's
I mean,
up
look,
there.
they'll play it at weddings.
They play that
They'll
shit
play
everywhere.
it out. And then, like, the best part, yes, I did. And people always do, like, the Mark, you lied to me. And everybody's doing that face when you said
Everybody's like
that.
pointing at each other. You lied to, like, get their frustrations out and shit.
I mean, look, every culture, you hear that at, like, white parties. You hear that at, like, a more diverse crowd. You'll hear that.
The black parties?
Hell yeah.
Like,
everywhere you go.
Hell yeah.
That's a theory.
That has to be, like, it's definitely top 3 most universal play. Because I hear that shit anytime I go out. Like,
yes, I
did. Like, the Flat, I go to Secret Group. Yeah, that shit. The last few places, fucking Seaside Lounge, they play that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Been there yet.
You ain't been to Seaside Lounge?
Not yet.
Bruh.
I need to
Seaside Lounge is the move.
be out there soon.
We say all these places and shit. Yo, y'all better give us some like sponsorship or some
Yeah.
shit.
Hell yeah, shout out.
Pay us.
Pay all of us.
For real, we'll pull up.
We'll plug any spot.
Yeah.
For some cash.
Yo, just shit, man. Just give us
Yeah.
fucking case of fucking
One
Stellas
case
or
of
some
Lone
shit.
Star.
Yeah, we good.
All we need.
Gucci.
Where you get 30 seconds.
A bottle and a section. We are 100. Yo, y'all know what I hate though? Y'all ever been to like the club or like the clubby type places and they got like bottle service and they got the bottle girls
Hate that.
Yeah.
shit.
and they come and do the stupid ass dance?
Sparks and
I
shit.
hate that shit, bro.
They gotta hype it up.
Like,
they gotta
that is
make
the
you
worst.
feel like
no, I'll
you
be
the
like,
VIP.
Girl, go home, like go away, like just
Go
put my bottle
away.
down.
It's just
See-
for like ultimate flexing, right? Like
Yeah,
But
you want
that's
everybody
all it
else
is.
in the club to
Dance.
see that you're getting bottles. So then everybody
That
will come
part's
and
okay
stand by
with me.
your section, and then you can feel real cool. for
I
a
feel like
minute,
anytime
so
I've-
somebody else gets bottles.
I feel like anytime I've ever been part of like a bottle service crowd, it's either I'm part of like a big birthday crowd where like the dude hosting is flossing so he can do that, or like I'll go a place where they have bottle service and somebody in the bottle service will be like, "Oh shit, Mike," and like pull me in.
Yeah.
Like those are the only times I've ever been around, so I don't know
Yeah,
anything
that's
about the
dope.
price range other than I don't have it.
Yeah, I don't got that right
Yeah.
there. No, the I don't mind them bringing out the shit with the sparklers. They can keep the signs in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Signs.
Yeah, sometimes they have a little sign. Like
What
it'll
are
be
the
like
signs?
Reserved.
I don't
He
know,
got
no,
bottles.
We lit.
Falling over here.
This guy.
Swear to God, they do this shit like the address and shit like that, bro. But the thing that pisses me off about this shit is the motherfucking dance the girls do, bro. It's just like little, like they'll hold the shit, whatever they hold it, and they'll do like this fake ass hip hop parade ass dance. And it's like, yo, can y'all do something else?
It looks like
Or,
some
just-
shit in Grand
just
Theft Auto.
Yeah, like some shit like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Remember how CJ was dancing?
You had to just like dance rhythmically with them, and then that was it. Like 3 minutes later, like, yup. You know what? Though? There's something to it though, because a lot of these dudes out here can't be dancing to beat at all to save their
Bro,
lives.
yo, but that shit is that's so funny. That like that shit. All right, remember when I was like at fucking Secret Group last week? We just like randomly like dancing with this chick, and then like literally that shit happens. Like you know how like you end up making out with them? And
Yeah,
shit?
that was tight.
That
Ow.
shit literally. I was CJ, nigga. Fuck, the law's always fucking our shit up.
I know, boy.
Y'all, we live in a horrible part of town.
Chernobyl. Nah, we're just in the city. All the recording is here.
So we're trying to get that secret group money.
Yo, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Trying to. But yeah, man, fuck bottle service.
Bottle service.
Bottle service is underrated.
So-
It's overrated,
Overrated,
man. It's definitely
100%.
overrated.
Question, pop culture question, because I'm starting to see more and more trailers for it.
Uh-huh.
Bad Boys 3. Is that just going to be like, I'm too old for this shit, and like, one more job type jokes the whole movie? Like, do you think that's all it's going to be,
You know
or is there going
what?
to be something to it?
I think it's actually. Bad Boys is always good, bro. Like, Bad Boys 2 was better than Bad Boys 1. to
Well,
me.
the plot's always good, but like,
Like,
I
that's-
When did
still...
2 come out?
2002, 2003.
Yeah, probably
Okay,
somewhere
so I
in that
probably saw
range.
Bad Boys 2, but now like if 3 came
think-
out, I would not be like rushing to see it.
Yeah, it was
Well,
Shake Your
it's-
Tail Feather. Oh!
Yeah.
That was on the trailer.
When that shit was.
Doom, doom, doom,
With the
doom,
whip
doom, doom.
Girls are doing the chicken head and shit. That was the stupidest dance too, bro.
I know.
Like, what are y'all doing?
But see, my concern is Will Smith is still kind of corny to me, though.
Will Smith has always been corny though.
But
I
he
think
was-
Bad Boys was like that movie that made him cool.
I feel like
Will Smith the Shane
first
Battier of the acting world.
I think he is, man. I think he is.
Bro, yeah.
I think he's more talented.
He's done everything. He has all kinds of range. He's been on every team,
Titles.
every corner.
Yeah.
You know, everybody likes him. Nobody's like, he's literally the best though. Like,
Yeah.
not many people think Will Smith is the best actor. You know what I mean?
know.
He's
Like nobody's like a major
quality,
Will Smith
solid.
head.
He can be a rotational piece of
Hey,
a
why is Will Smith
championship
always the
film
last?
library.
Why is that nigga always the last nigga on Earth?
I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Always.
always, bro. Will Smith is always the last nigga on Earth.
Nobody else
man.
can stand him anymore.
Yeah, it's just like,
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
and he the only nigga in the future too.
I know. I know.
Him and Jaden, and that's scary.
I'm Ghost.
Yo, hey, I ain't gonna lie, that's my favorite Jaden
That
song.
shit goes
dog.
hard.
That Ghost go hard. Hey, speaking of like fucking Will Smith, Jaden, you know what I'm saying? People of like that type of statue, like who are kids like role models today? Like who the fuck do they really look up to? Like who's a positive role model today?
LeBron. That's everybody's role model nowadays. I feel like NBA athletes, like NBA
Really?
stars.
I mean, fucking Isaiah Thomas got ejected last night for being like, "Hey man, don't curse at me."
Yeah.
Y'all see that shit?
Yeah.
That was fucked up.
I like that he gave that kid his headband on the way out. That was cool.
Oh, I didn't see any of this.
I just saw like the on the way out.
He was in Philly, fucking Philly fans.
Philly fans are very
Some
aggressive.
dude, some douchebag, probably like 24-year-old, was like "fuck you" type shit when he was like about to shoot his free throws or some shit like that, and he like just like walked up there and was like, "Yo, don't do that shit," you know what I'm saying? Like he came at him with like respect, and dude was like, "All right, I'm sorry," you know what I'm saying? But like he got ejected just because he wasn't in the fucking. He wasn't even like in the stands. It was like
Damn.
right past the camera people.
He got ejected just for
He got ejected
wow,
just for like
talking to a guy.
yeah.
That's
Literally.
ridiculous,
Yeah,
man.
that's a very that's not cool.
But then the fans, it was two fans, like a guy and a girl, whatever. They got banned from that place for 12 months, for a year. So I guess
yeah, it's a
went both ways.
solid.
Yeah, but like fans gotta stop that shit, bro.
For
Like
real.
I know, like
yeah.
You see the guy that was yelling at Russell Westbrook in Salt Lake City?
dude, yeah, that's
Now that
on
guy,
the docket. He's suing
yeah.
for $100 million. Him and his wife. He's suing for $68 million. His wife is suing for $100 million. I mean, for 32.
You could tell he was a clout chaser from the jump.
Oh
though.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
he like
for
filmed
sure.
himself doing. Like I think it was like a premeditated
clout.
fucking like.
Yo, that's funny.
Nah, I
Come
think
up
you're.
That
with
was
from the
actually
jump.
on the docket. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
These fans, like, first of all, this kind of goes into this other thing that was on the docket. Trolling, like just like doing shit for like clout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The clout chasing shit. Yeah, that gotta stop. That shit. That's getting a lot of y'all niggas like slapped and you know what I'm saying, shot and shit out
Too
here.
many people out here with too much negativity and worried about the wrong things. And
Always,
Yeah, that's
you know.
that's for sure.
I mean, always, but like
I'm not gonna lie though, like you see shit like I'm Tyrone. Like
Yeah,
that shit
nah,
was
that
funny
shit's
though.
funny.
Come on now.
That shit's funny. I got a boat on here. Brody, big Brody. Yeah. No, that shit's funny, bro. Like, when you got like that, like a type of shtick, they're like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is funny. Like, this ain't book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't fucking 6ix9ine shit, man. But like, because I think that shit is like kind of ruining, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's making like the world like worse and worse. It's like making shit like everybody's like a cry wolf type person. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, internet trolling, meme culture, sensationalism. It's like ruining the physical world.
Well, it's like we talked about last week with like the blogs and shit. It's like, oh, okay, well, I heard this on a podcast, or I, saw this on an Instagram post, or I saw, like, they're creating stories out of nothing,
Right.
and it's just like,
And then it spreads like wildfire.
well, and then like it's they might put their own context behind it because none of these people are typically journalists.
Right.
They're usually people that they're keyword experts,
Right.
and they're like, oh, you wouldn't 10 and totally insane things you wouldn't believe, shit like that in headlines, and then you read it and you're like, I can't believe any of these though. So that's why we read them, and then people with nothing better to do will just sit there and comment and comment, and it's like self-fulfilling, just keeps feeding into itself.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that shit just gotta stop though. Like for real, people gotta be more conscious on like the shit that they like, like share. You know what I mean? Like, because they'll read some shit. Like, check your sources. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, at least, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, cross-reference your shit. Make sure that all, like, the shit that you, like, the information that you're getting is real information. You know what I mean? Not just, like, some
I think that boat
op-ed.
sailed a long time ago, though. Like,
Nah, it did.
you know, there's people that got their own realities right now. Like,
But, I mean, it's about to be 2020, right? It's about to be another decade. Like, we got to get on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to stop. Speaking of, like, getting on some other shit, did y'all hear Ja Rule's Fyre?
I haven't actually.
he has a new song.
Shit, I haven't
He
played
made a
it.
song, nigga, where
All right, I'll pull it up.
he's talking about, like, Fyre Festival, pretty
Oh
much.
no! So is it like a
Oh.
parody?
Like, it's kind of, yeah, like, he's, like, kind of making fun of it. Like, y'all can't sue me type shit. You know what I mean?
You want me to put it on the?
We
Yeah.
sure could.
Yeah. Let's do that. But, like, it's, I mean, shit is wild out here, man. Oh, yeah, and while we putting that up, man, it was funny. I was telling y'all, I think before we started recording about, like, I was like, what's up with the trend with, like, NBA players and NFL players, like, acting an ass before the game and, like, dressing up and, like, weird shit. But then this nigga on the Jets today, bro.
I don't know. I don't know why
Full
people
uniform,
do
bro.
that.
That's like the best shit I've seen of that, like, trend, bro.
I don't know why people do that. Like, why?
But like wrestling in the tunnel.
How did it
shit
become
like
a
that.
thing?
Remember? No, I'm gonna tell y'all when it started. Remember, when Kevin Durant came back last season and he did like that little dance or whatever.
Oh,
and got hurt
yeah.
that same game, like tore his shit.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious, bro. Like, and I think that's what started the whole trend. You know, with that shit.
I guess, but like people dressing up, I don't know. I don't get that one. Like I'm not hating, but I don't know like why.
It kind of bothers me because it's like, yo, like y'all should be focused on the fucking game.
Right,
You
100%.
know what I'm saying? Like what are y'all
maybe
doing?
in preseason we can dress up. Like,
Yeah.
otherwise I'm like, you know.
Like, I mean, when the Texans did it, I wasn't mad because they won that game. You know, like the D line actually like showed up. I believe they won that game. I forgot who the fuck they was playing.
Yeah, I remember the Texans Pats game. They did. What did they have? They had something like bulletproof vest or something
it
like
was
that.
yeah, that was the game. That was exactly
Something
the game.
like that.
You got Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the need for the.
I mean the
Trend.
theatrics. You know what I'm saying?
I don't mind theatrics, but like I don't know where the. I guess you have the media out there. They're always going to record. You have the platform. Why not? I guess that's probably where that came from.
Right. Yeah. Well, remember when like Westbrook was like one of those people that like started dressing snazzy and shit, like because remember the
Him
league
and
came down-
Harden though.
The league came down with the rules, the
Wait.
Iverson rules.
Question: Rockets best dressed
in
team?
the league.
Yes.
100%.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Most
But
definitely
amongst the
best dressed.
shoes, the
I
gear.
mean, bro, this shit is so trash. Oh my god, look at the picture. This the cover art.
This is the Ja Rule Fire.
Yeah.
He's just become a joke of himself. Oh no.
This is just him saying we on fire tonight. That's the hook.
Nah.
He's supposedly telling the story about what happened.
FOMO. I doubt anybody had FOMO. Oh no.
No, Ja Rule. 50 gotta
can't
get this
wa-
nigga
I
out of here.
know.
We probably
see?
don't need verse
We don't
2
need
of
more.
that one.
50 needs to come back with something.
We probably don't need verse.
It's like
two,
Ja
yes.
Rule's not even trying to make a diss track. 50 still bodies him.
Yeah.
Just for doing this.
He should. Like, he does that kind of shit. Like, he needs to.
Yo, okay, I will say.
I guess
back
that's a
to the
drawing
trolling
of
shit,
the styrofoam.
50 is the best internet troll.
Oh, yeah.
50, like, hands out.
He
is the
started
best,
it.
like-
I feel like it's
I feel
a
like he started
natural transition because he was always kind of a bully. Like as soon as he came out, you
Right.
know what I mean. Like that was his whole vibe. His like,
Kinda,
you
yeah.
know, like
He just beefs with people.
yeah, like he wasn't even really rapping about like how he would like smartly come up in the game. He's just
Yeah.
like
He's like, I smell
He was-
pussy. Is that you, Irv?
he's
Like,
like
what?
he's rapping about riding around in Grandpa's Cadillac.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm thinking I should rob all these
He
dudes.
does.
Like his own people that he's out with, about
Yeah.
to like do the shooting with or whatever. He's
And,
gonna rob them. I say I want to eat. They go, let's eat too.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that with on the way over here. I was listening to some Young Buck
Dude, Young Buck.
and how he used to
Underrated.
always just shit on Young Buck for no
Yeah.
reason.
Young Buck underrated though, bro. I love good Buck.
Young
with
Buck
it.
is like the Mario Chalmers of G Unit.
Yeah, he is. He really is. Yayo is like Haslam. Just like
He's
old.
just
and
always
there.
gonna be there. Oldest member of the clique.
Do you know what this is? So on this Fyre like art, it says for your real entertainment. Is that what the Fyre Fest was supposed to stand for?
Probably.
I don't know.
Also, I see the drawing is that of a styrofoam to-go box with
Yeah.
the sandwich and the cheese and the fixins.
The fixins.
I think they're making fun of
Fixins.
how.
What the meals were that were
Right.
provided
Yeah.
at Fyre Fest. Yeah.
Yo, who drew this though? Like a fucking 4-year-old?
Probably Ja. You don't have money for album art.
Yeah.
Yo, you remember when he was at
The
the
concert?
basketball game?
Yeah.
At the house.
Are you ready? I guess not.
That's one of the top clips of this year. That was
Man,
this year,
and
right?
like why like he just keeps like I don't know, like at some point you have to stop putting yourself in harm's way.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, yeah, it's so funny, bro, because like that beef really came from like some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas was getting stabbed and shit like that. You know what I mean?
The
Like,
50 Cent
the
Murder
50 Cent
Inc.
Murder Inc. shit,
G-Unit
yeah.
Murder Inc.
Cause like, what was that nigga name? Black Ty, Cadillac Ty. What was the nigga name from Murder Inc? He, like,
Cadillac Tire.
Ty, like
Ty.
like chocolate Ty.
Oh, okay.
You know, like Ty, like
Oh, like a
yeah.
tie.
His name was Black Ty, Cadillac Ty, something like that, bro. He like stabbed a nigga. I know Irv Gotti and them got like stabbed. They had like they had a RICO case that they
Aren't
beat.
most like rap cliques and labels kind of like that? Like, there's always one artist
like-
who like might have one single, but the rest of like his role is he's just an enforcer and like catches
Yeah.
bodies for everybody else on the label and like
Pretty
takes
much.
the rap for shit. Like
yeah, straight up. Like
they're
I was
like
like MC Ren,
like the
in
22nd
NWA,
member of the
So-
Wu-Tang. Like
in
Yeah.
NWA. MC Ren was in Eazy-E were the only real gang members.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like and MC Ren was literally just like he was just in the gang with Easy, and he was the nigga that could rap from the gang. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
why like he threw him in there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like everybody else had like.
How do you think they
like,
discover that? Do you think it's like, hey, they're all just like fucked up when hey man, freestyle.
No,
And
they
he's
just
just like,
doing it.
and Notorious is there. They're like, oh shit,
Yeah,
let's get him on the
niggas
mic.
Just rapping, you know what I'm saying? This just how the SUC started, bro.
Yeah.
Like niggas was just rapping, bro. Like I mean, Big Poggy and Mo and shit. Mo was just that nigga that could sing at school.
So
bro.
when are we gonna put out our
Literally.
first rap album, Alan? I know you down.
Hey, I really want to do all freestyles, bro.
I'm down,
Like,
man.
I
We
want
just need to
just like spin.
one
We
of
got
these
the
days
equipment.
I'll
over the
just
next
bring my
year.
equipment,
Just
bro,
fucking
and we'll just come in here
throw
and
some
spin.
beats on, and we'll just fucking record and
Straight up.
for like 3
Put out a
hours and take
mixtape.
the best 40 minutes of flows and put it on a
Hey,
great
put it out
cassette.
New Year's Eve. Call it Roaring 20s, the mixtape.
Yo,
down.
Yo, 2020 about to be wild, man. Like,
I feel it. I feel it.
I think it's about to be like, I wish I had the bread for it already, but I just want to dress in suits for like the whole 20s. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Just like meow. See?
I bet-
Like that
I bet. I bet Jock would coordinate with you.
Yo, straight up, like fucking fedoras and shit like that. Like straight up. I just
Remember
wanna
my
dress
hat?
like
Don't
that.
forget about my hat.
Yeah.
Find
Like,
some flappers.
Yeah, for real. Just find girls that dress up as sparkly shit and make them get the like ghetto ass perm and shit. You know, the finger waves.
Get a cigarette holder.
Yeah, like straight up, I'm gonna start doing that shit, bro. Just start dressing like that. Like, meow, shit, big ass cigars. What you pull me over for, copper?
They're like, why do you have like moonshine in the back? You're like, it's the 20s.
It's the 20, she.
This is the only way.
What are you talking about, copper? Governor?
My tummy gun.
But just to confirm, we did say Rockets best dressed team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
definitely current NBA, maybe NBA.
Is anybody even
history.
close?
I mean,
Who's close?
Who else has
I
right
don't
now
think- I don't
on one
think
team?
any-
No team is really close right now. Like,
But
You got
I don't think
PJ on
any
the
other
kicks.
profession
Right.
dresses better other than like models.
Right.
Right.
Like the fashion industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that's something that the fashion industry should really look into. Like, you know what I'm saying? Make these NBA models NBA players models, literally, for like, you know, for the Gucci's and, you know, Versace and shit like that. You know?
yeah. I mean, they kind of already do that in a way, right? Like if. I don't know if I've heard of a specific for sure
Kobe was
example. Like,
remember Kobe's photo shoot?
like I
You
know
remember
like,
Kobe's first shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, I hoop in the Kobe 2s, man.
Oh,
Those are-
the Nike Kobe too.
Yeah,
you talking
yeah,
about the Adidas, the
Oh.
spaceships,
Kleenex boxes.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Huh?
I interrupted.
the Kleenex boxes. I'm sorry.
Oh, I do remember those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they looked like the fucking Isuzu Aztec SUV.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
The Isuzu Axiom.
Yeah.
Pontiac
Red.
All the
Aztec.
white shit.
Yeah.
Pontiac Aztec. Nah, it did look like that. There's some weird cars, man. You look back in history, just the different cars that have existed out there. Some weird shit.
Yo,
man.
remember Thomas's car?
The Scion.
He had the
green
Scion. That was
Scion.
like the big
Alan.
green candy green Scion.
How many cars have you owned?
I've owned at least 8.
At least.
At least.
And I feel like you're
I
probably
had
forgetting about 3 or 4.
I had a Toyota Corolla. I had an 86 Toyota Corolla bought for $400 from this crazy dude. I had a Buick Century station wagon.
I remember that one.
I had one GMC pickup truck. I had
Yeah, the
a
truck. I didn't even see that
Chevy
one.
Cobalt that I got a horrible deal on. She got like I tore the wheel off of it driving the
Damn.
Taco Cabana trying to drift Paul Walker style. Then that shit got repoed. These are all mistakes you make in a youth at like 19. You should not buy a car.
Yo,
Just don't do it.
y'all want to know? what's
Especially not a
wild?
Chevy if you don't have credit.
I had like 4 cars or 5 cars within a span of like 2 years, and I wrecked
Shit.
them all, bro.
Damn.
Like most of them weren't my fault, but
Yeah,
I had the fucking the Honda Accord. I had a 2008 Honda Accord. I had a fucking Cadillac CTS. I had a 2009 Cadillac CTS. Then I got the Dodge Dart. Then I got the Altima, and it was one more in there too. But fuck, like that was all within the span of like 2 years.
I got on a really good run of like luck where like 3 or 4 times in a row I would buy like probably like a not smart like like I'm gonna get this used Audi because like it's fucking baller, but like it has all kinds of issues and that's why it was cheap. But I would just like do that and I would get full coverage on them and then somehow luck into like a weird accident and then like get the shit
Just pay
like,
it
like they would be like the shit that I already
Luck
knew was
into an
broke.
accident.
They'd be like, we're gonna fix this because like pretty sure it happened in an accident. I'm like, yeah, for sure.
That's a good point.
Like,
It did actually happen. I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember it did.
so moral of the story, kids, always get full coverage.
And Gap insurance. Make
Yes.
sure you get fucking Gap insurance, kids. 'Cause that will
What does that
fuck
even
you
stand
off.
for?
Because so say that you, in the case, wreck a car,
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But you're not finished paying it off.
Oh yeah.
They just pay off the remainder. Of
Good,
it.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like it's the
I
insurance.
thought that was
for
standard on all full coverage.
No, well, no,
No.
it's not. It's not.
See,
Like something you have to make sure you get Gap insurance.
educational.
Straight
podcast.
up, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, Mike, you got the next one? What's up, man? I'm
I
in the
forgot.
pod today, man. Like
You
come
got a
on.
lot. Hey, I'm here.
There's
I'm
shit.
here. I got caught up in the
Um,
insurance thing.
All right, we
I was thinking about it because I was like, I don't know if I have that. But I'm also safe. I'm good at driving.
Nah,
you know?
Mike is like the safest fucking. This nigga always has the map ready and shit.
Yeah, because I get lost. It's the maps get you lost.
This
though,
nigga be
honestly.
driving straight up 60.
You gotta
flat.
use Waze.
Nah, I be going about 10
Nah,
over.
nah,
I use Waze
unless he
most
like
of the
gets
time.
pissed off. Unless it's somebody driving in front of him. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this asshole doing?
Well, 'cause I'm always
And get in front of that person
multitasking.
and like do the same thing.
I shouldn't be like admitting it, but you know, you're like doing shit while you're driving. Like, oh, well, let me answer some emails real quick.
That's how accidents happen.
I'm screw.
Yo,
That's my response.
Yo, y'all heard the Weeknd new shit?
Nah.
Why does he? Why does it? I don't want to hear it, but why does he look like my uncle from like 1978 or something like that? Like,
does
yeah,
look like-
he look like one of them niggas from the old pictures you see that be like yellow in like.
Does he look like the?
They have, like, the
Have you ever?
sepia tint.
Do you ever see like somebody in person, like, you know, in front of you that looks like standard definition? Like they look like they stepped out of a TV straight from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like they don't exist in high def.
Yeah.
Like they
man.
look
I don't know about
pixelated.
that
You're like,
one.
man, you look like you just stepped out of a tube TV.
I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Hell yeah. Yo, I was watching TV and like seeing shit. Like I was watching like Sanford and Son the other day. Like, isn't it so weird how like they looked like different and shit like that? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Like we've evolved already, like in a certain way.
You know, like our eyes like got more like HD too. It's like, yo, how did
It's
they look
weird.
at this shit?
It is
And I'm
weird
like,
to
yo,
think
this is-
about. We'll never be able to see, like the shit that we think about the 60s or 70s,
Like
for
those
example.
times,
We've
like,
only
actual times
viewed it
through a
through
lens.
like there's no way for us to like look back and like upscale that to like
Yeah.
4K. So like
Right.
we don't like, you know, people
They
walking around in
try.
real life, they saw like what shit actually looked like, and we'll never be able to.
Like,
Even if it's
actually
like
see
video,
that.
it's like, why do people walk like that? They're like walking all choppy and shit. Hello.
I don't know. Martin Scorsese is good at going back and portraying
Refixing,
that shit.
remastering, or whatever.
True.
Yeah, because I know he had a hand in Joker too, like low
Really?
key.
I forgot like his exact. Have you seen it yet?
Nah.
Oh, you need to see it.
Man.
You'll like it. Everybody
Right.
that we
Straight
know
up,
with this
it's
kind
like-
of.
I just see too many memes on the internet of like, I don't know, maybe it's like these fucking like incel type guys have like taken over the Joker persona, and they're always talking about like
Who?
like fucking like losers that like, you know, like living in their basement, never getting off the computer or whatever. Like
You gotta
they
change who you follow,
they always,
brother.
they always like post like a picture of like the Joker walking down some steps, and they're like, tomorrow, like I'm gonna make everybody pay for what they did to me.
Wait, you're seeing this shit?
I don't know.
You need to call the FBI on them niggas out.
I just feel like
I hope
the only
they're
time
listening.
Snitch is good,
like they
bro.
ruined that shit for me.
He said they ruined it for me. Yeah.
That's the only time Snitch is good, bro.
I feel like
that.
if I'm having a shitty day, I'll send it in the group chat, like a meme, like a gif of like Joker spinning and shit. But I'm not posting that and saying like one day or like y'all, you'll see.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yo, speaking of you'll see, man. I know, like, Mike, I know you trying to stay apolitical on this shit. Like, I know, Alan, you don't give a fuck. But, like, this shit, like, now with the impeachment actually going through, is, like, really gonna be, it's gonna be a test to, like, shit's about to really get real now, bro. Because everything's too polarizing now. And I hate that shit. I wish it was not like this is the worst time, I believe.
I never have
it
faith that
is to,
anything's
like-
gonna change, so I don't think it'll be any different now. We'll be sitting in the same spot a year from now.
Yeah, but like with things like you said, the incel people. That's what made me like think about this shit because like I like do like you know what I'm saying like shit see the.
Well,
shit
I do
that,
feel like
my
with
friends post and
there was
shit.
a guy I was watching the other day, and he had a bit about how like, you know how we Asian comedians. I watched this shit. He had this really good bit. I wish I could remember his name, but this just sounds like real weird to say. Like,
Yeah, it's funny.
anyway, he had this bit that maybe in like 40, 50 years, we're going to look back on just letting people use the internet the same way we look back on like people smoking cigarettes. Like, man, like my mom in the 50s, she was pregnant, just smoking, drink,
Yeah.
you know, like they didn't know any better. And, you know, maybe in 50 years, we're going to look back like, oh, we just lit kids on the internet? Like,
Yeah.
we just let pregnant women use the internet?
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah.
just, like, like, we're going to have areas where you have to go and use the internet away from the healthy public areas, you know?
Right.
'Cause
No.
it allows a platform, basically, for these guys that feel like they have, you know, like, people that it would be... you know, like white supremacists
everybody's a
and shit like
keyboard
that.
warrior, bro.
They can
Well,
find their...
everybody has a platform now because of the internet. Like even this podcast,
And you
you
can
know,
hide behind the screen,
there's good
man.
and there's bad, but there are I mean, I think that the internet itself has, and I'm not breaking ground saying this, but it's created an even worse instant gratification of impatience and constant need for stimulus.
Yeah.
And if we don't get it, which we're not, because it's impossible to maintain that, we get bored. And nobody wants to deal with boredom.
Right.
Boredom is where you can be your most creative. That's where you can think about your most thorough problems and solve them. Or you can just go mindless and just kind of meditate.
I turn notifications off for like all social media.
It's healthy to do
Very
that.
when you get on it.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want. Yeah.
When
like,
I get on it, I'm on it. Otherwise, I'm staying off it.
I'll
Really.
go in real quick with like a mission and then get out. Like
It's it's. Bro,
like going to the mall.
I don't ever
it's kind of
scroll
an
through that
addiction.
shit,
Like it really is like an addiction. Like
It's a
like,
dopamine
for real.
addiction.
Like,
You're literally getting a dopamine hit every time you like.
It's
you know,
dope, bro. Like
You know, I went to this Facebook seminar last year in Austin, and they were just going through all these different stats, talking about, you know, effective marketing and things like that. And one of them was the average Facebook user scrolls through 300 feet of wall a day.
that's insane.
A football field in a day.
that is wild.
And I think about like me, I'll get on there, I'll scroll maybe for a minute, look at something, and then get off. So let's say that's maybe 10 feet. That means for every one of me, there's somebody, doing 590 feet a day?
Yeah, no, it's wild.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, even like with like Reddit, that's the most social media-ish type thing I'm opening up and just, you know, for a minute here and there.
It's a forum, you know, conversational.
Right, yeah. But at
it's
least
not
with
the
that,
same,
you know, I'll catch myself just kind of mindlessly scrolling sometimes, like,
for
you know, and I'm like, I'm not even absorbing any of this. I'm just literally like, but at least with that, I'm like, okay, it's somewhat more educational and informative or like substantive than just like,
and I
it's
think
not like
it's
pictures.
chicks twerking and fucking people Trump.
Well, and I think you have to be disciplined in your curation. You know, if you're gonna follow things on social media,
Right.
you don't want to see things, don't follow it. You know, like
Right.
if you want to just see cool, like, you know, because I mean, Instagram's pretty cool. You'll see some just badass nature photos, you know, and you're like, damn, that's
I
beautiful.
thought you was about to say some badass bitches.
Well, I mean, if that's what you're there for, they have that too. You know, but you have to know what you're getting in there for. If you're like, you know, I'm seeing too much of this, I'll unfollow and follow shit all the time. I'm constantly, I almost look at my friends list, the people I'm following on social media or whatever, as just like a curation of content. If I'm like, I'm not really fucking with your vibes anymore, unfollow. You know, it's like, it's not that I don't fuck with you. It's just like, I don't really want to see the shit that you're producing.
Did they already do this? They're talking about they're gonna hide likes.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm ready for it.
I'm ready. For that shit too. I've been looking for that shit.
Bring it.
So will you get alerted when someone likes your shit, or you just won't be able to see the total amount of likes?
No,
I think you'll see it, but
people won't see it on your profile.
People won't see it.
Or they won't. You won't see it on the timeline.
Do you think you're gonna start seeing more people flexing, like screenshotting and posting, like, look at these likes?
That'll be the lamest shit. Like that.
But
I'll lose
probably
faith
happen
in
though, huh?
Humanity, if people like start doing that.
You don't
shit.
think? But do you think that's impossible?
Oh, people are definitely.
I
Gonna
mean,
do
if they gonna do that shit, then yeah, like we're done for.
You already have. Well, you already have like the social media. Like some people
really,
will be
who cares?
posting their like
This is
impressions. You know, trying to like get more like, hey, hit me up, you know, for business inquiries, and they'll be posting like the number of impressions they'll get. People will do that.
Right.
So I feel like equally, you're gonna see how many likes they're getting too.
Bro, like for real, I'll quit every other site right now. Like for real, I'll shut everything down if they bring back classic MySpace.
Me too.
Like straight up, if they bring back classic MySpace, just top 8. You know what I mean? Like the fucking comment wall and shit like that.
Bulletin.
Yeah, like just that where you couldn't do the HTML. Like if they just brought that back, I'll click the rest of the internet. Fuck it.
MySpace,
just be on
you
MySpace,
know,
catch
they
it on
just
MySpace.
need, well, first they'd have to have the desire to bring it back, but then they just need like a good marketing campaign because they haven't had shit.
I think
Like they never did anything, they never tried anything. I mean, like you see LinkedIn commercials, you see Facebook
MySpace
commercials.
still exist? I mean,
I
can you
think
what happens if you go
it's
to
now like-
MySpace.com right now?
I think it's like the music app now, right? Basically, like almost like a SoundCloud.
Something like that. Yeah, people. I mean, I think if you still know your URL, you can probably still like find your shit.
think you
like
can.
If you have a URL like
Damn.
myspace.com / mine is
I shouldn't have deleted it.
/ chance to pimp.
Nice.
We were everything pimp, right?
Yeah.
As kids. Hey, you know who they need? MySpace, if they want to come back, they need to get whoever did marketing for salad. Sometimes that shit
Salad?
blows my mind. I eat salad all the time, but salad's just fucking leaves.
Is salad like? Oh, okay. So you mean just the concept?
Actual
of
salad. Like whoever came up with that was a master finesse. He's like, hey, like I'd like to imagine it was like a first date, and he forgot that it was that night, and she's like, "So what are we having?" And he's like, give me a minute." Just fucking puts leaves in a bowl, like chops up some fruit. Or some, other vegetables. That's what a salad is.
I fucks with salad.
I love salad, but then I hate when you eat salad. You look stupid jamming a fork in it.
That's why you get
Like you have
salad wrap.
seeds. Wraps are delicious. It's a burrito.
Do you know that croutons are just the old bread in a
hate
restaurant?
croutons.
I love croutons.
I like
man.
Dude, I
croutons.
always order Caesar salad with no croutons.
Really?
That's my favorite salad.
If we ever have salads together, they can put your croutons on my
Yeah.
Caesar. 'Cause I love Caesar salad.
Question: do you fuck with the anchovy base Caesar?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
At times.
That
At
shit-
times.
No,
It's so funny how many people don't know that Caesar dressing. What makes a Caesar salad is like an anchovy.
I didn't know that
based
till
thing.
maybe
No.
3 years ago.
Caesar, that nigga was cold because he got the best salads, the best haircuts. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Caesar's
the
Palace.
best palace. You know what I mean? Like,
Not the best pizza though.
Little Caesar's one, yeah. That shit cold.
That's
Little
all
Caesar
right.
go hard.
It has its
For the
moments.
price.
For the price.
That
I will
nigga-
say I've
yeah.
probably eaten more Little Caesars than any other kind of pizza.
Nah, Peter Piper.
College days.
Like, I don't know why, but I fucked with Papa John's because, like, that's all we had in middle school, fucking high school.
Papa
like,
John's cool.
Throughout that's my favorite fast food pizza.
Out
Like,
of
Pizza Hut
out
and
of
all that
Papa
shit.
John's, Domino's, and Pizza
Mine's
Hut,
Domino's.
I've become a recent convert to Papa John's for sure.
It's funny
Like-
because I'm starting to lean that way. I've always said Domino's, but lately I'm like, Papa John's just more of a light pizza. You
Right.
know, like it doesn't feel as like
And I
heavy
mean, like,
I
and
ate that shit
saucy.
I ate that shit every day for literally like how long were you in middle school and high school?
6, 7, 8, 7 years.
combined.
6, 7, 8,
Ate that
9,
shit
10,
every
11,
day
12.
for 7 years, Monday through Friday. That shit was
Every
$1,
day.
$1.50 a slice.
Alan's
or
concerned.
$8 for a whole pizza, Papa John's pizza, bro. Every day. And on Wednesdays
We
we
trying to get that Papa
Chick-fil-A.
John's money too.
Yeah, Papa, it's your sweaty racist ass, man. Holla at us, man.
You know, Shaq is on
We'll
the
bring it
board at
back.
Papa
Oh,
now,
word?
right?
Hey, Shaq.
He got a house out in
What the
Sugarland, right? Or he did at one point.
Everybody got a house in Sugarland. I feel
Probably.
like
Real.
Something like
Everybody
that.
stay out there.
low taxes, diversity,
Sugar,
Yeah.
good schools.
Yeah.
the mall,
I feel like
Yeah.
First Colony.
even their
In and
cops don't do as much fucked up shit. Like,
Yo.
Probably not as corrupt. True.
Remember we got ran up on by the cops when we were in high school in Sugarland and CJ with CJ. He was
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
"All right, y'all, bye." Like to the cops.
Yeah.
So, like, he
And they
was
were like, they just look confused. They're like,
he had a Cy Young too.
we didn't do
Big
anything
boxy
wrong though.
ones. He was just like, we were at a park, so like drinking or some shit. He was just like, "All right, guys, see ya." Like,
The cops said, oh.
hey, yo, why didn't fucking Tupac change the world? You know what I'm saying? Like,
why didn't he?
why
It was
did that song-
posthumous- posthumous
it was posthumous Pac.
We got theories about that. I just,
Yeah.
look, did he create it from start to finish changes?
I want to say so.
Because
I
if
think it was
not,
just,
like,
it just was unreleased.
if that's the case,
Changes
man,
is,
I
like,
don't
one
know.
of the best songs ever, bro. I think the video is just showing like
Yeah.
Martin Luther King and like Michael Jackson. Like,
Well, it's a
everybody
good
helping
song, but
people.
it's not, I don't know.
Still
I'll
see
wait
no
on the
changes.
Tupac. Can the brother get a little piece? He's right,
War in
though.
the Middle East. Like,
The message is good. I don't know. I have issues with
Nah,
posthumous
if you really
Pac.
listen to that song, it's like, yo, this is that's just the way
Pac-stradamus.
it is. Like, you know,
It's the way it is.
It's just the way it is, bro. Like,
Things will never be the same.
never be the same. That's
See,
another
that's the
song
problem.
that
That's
other
the
people-
problem that I have with posthumous Pac. There's
What?
too much yeah thrown on top of it. I'm like, Pac never had any of that shit, man. He had Nate Dogg on the beat.
Yeah,
Nate Dogg
Yeah.
didn't do any of the yeah. Oh,
Yo, Speaking of yeah and shit, bro.
I can't be faded. That's the most you get from Nate Dogg. Go ahead.
Speaking of like yeah and shit like that. I went to my nephew's like Christmas program shit. Where the niggas like you know how like fucking Catholic schools like they sing and do like a little recital type shit. This nigga Caden had a fucking solo. Bro, this nigga Caden can sing, bro. I'm about to take this nigga to California, bro. This nigga can sing for real.
Was he all
serious. Nah, he wasn't. And this nigga could I forgot I don't know what song. Them niggas needed subtitles and shit in there. I don't know what song he was singing, but that shit sounded good.
When are we getting Cal on the
God,
podcast?
nigga, I was like, yo, we got to get him soon.
He actually,
bro.
so we were recording the podcast one day, and his little nephew comes out. How old is he now? Like probably 8, 10?
Yeah.
Comes out and he just grabs one of the microphones, playing around like he's on. And he's like just keeping up with us, like point by point. He's like, I think this, and actually, and I'm like, man, like, okay, well, let me listen to what he has to say. You just got to give him a haircut because right now he looks like the tethered from us.
Nah, straight up though. I be telling me I don't know why they want to grow their hair out and shit like that, man. They ain't like me, man. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, bro, y'all shit could be, fresh. It's
So,
funny.
what was okay? We haven't. I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast, but like, I realized I think it was a haircut I got like 2 months ago. I knew then. And I realize now that I think that was my haircut apex.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, I think
It's
that was
all
like
downhill from here.
Yeah, I think that was
mean?
like my peak haircut. I'm like, man, I don't think like my
Like,
hairline.
it's never been better,
Yeah,
never
like-
get better than this.
Yeah, like the diminishing,
Yeah.
hairline is in play now. I look back on old haircuts where I'm like,
So did you take like 100 photos to like?
I took one and I was like, nah, who am I gonna send this to? So I deleted it.
Damn,
It's a memory
you don't even
now.
have documentation of the. Oh, you probably don't want to remember it. If
I think
it's
I
like-
sent it in the group chat, but
Okay.
it's kind of like my brain. It's like outsourcing my brain into WhatsApp app convo. But what do you think your hair apex was? Like your peak haircut
I
thus
think
far?
We're still in the first act. Like, we're
Yeah,
still-
Okay,
still
that's
there.
fine. But of the
I have not
haircuts you've had,
plateaued yet.
Yeah,
but of the haircuts you've had,
I'm really liking my style right now.
Nice.
Like,
I'm looking at it right now.
this-
I like
mean,
it.
right now. This is
I feel like you could complete it if you add a little bit of some bangs in the back. You got like a mullet.
Some
You
bangs
got
in
you
the
like
back.
an 80s cut,
Nah,
like a
see,
mullet.
we're doing
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah, man.
100.
That looks
I got
really good.
layers.
Yeah.
I think your haircut now is
Turn around,
really
you fade it
good.
in the back.
No,
You don't fade it in the back. Yeah,
very,
you just.
like natural,
Yeah.
but,
Hey.
but keep it up on the sides and it's growing out on top,
Straight up.
It's
Girls
like a
get girls, man.
curls
like,
get girl. It's an 8 or it's like a 9 out of 10. I
Yo,
feel like
like
it'd be a
5
10.
years ago, I
if
had
you
the
get that
man
mullet.
bun faded on the sides.
That one was just like a different cut.
We went to and then for the Rockets made the playoffs. I went to this place. It's way off like Tidwell and 45. It's just called Fades. They didn't have any AC. They had a lady making micheladas in there.
Damn.
Like, I was like, yo, I want the Rockets symbol faded into the side of my head. And the guy was like, we could do that. You shave that shit in there.
Damn.
That was, not my haircut peak. But it
No
was
one
like
thought
it
it
was
was?
like it was like maybe
Bro, you
the
look like
first
Rude Jude. You know who Rude Jude is?
I don't
No.
know who it is.
He's a radio host, bro. First of all, he's one of the funniest fucking radio hosts, bro. Like he came up with like in Detroit and shit. He was Detroit radio. He's on like Sirius and shit like that, bro. Listen to like Rude Jude and like Lois Sear, bro.
Shouts to Rude Jude.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at was I was at the Rockets Spurs game on Monday. We're sitting
Oh, yeah, you
close,
told me about that.
all kinds of
Who'd you go
people,
with?
like just a crew, like of people, fucking my homegirl's birthday, all kinds of people. Anyway,
It's deep.
we were like, there was some cheering going on. The Rockets were down. The Spurs fans were real loud because Spurs fans travel well to Houston. There was this one guy. He had a man bun. He was sitting a few rows in front of us, and he had those little small glasses on. Like, I don't know. He just
Tiny frames.
yeah, like bad frames. I was like, man, your frames and your haircut are from like 2010. Like,
The dubstep days.
basically, I just don't fuck with Spurs fans.
Yeah,
and
you was
man
like, yo, fuck
buns,
Spurs
you
fans.
put them together, they're like, it's not. It's
Should've
not.
just slapped
You
it
know,
in
I remember that.
Like, yeah.
Should have slapped it in. Yo, You know what's funny though? I thought
The
about
Riverwalk is overrated.
Yo, Emily is a Spurs fan.
She is.
Yo.
But she's different though.
There's
She's
some nice ones
respectful.
out there.
Hey, so what about some other nice ones? I remember you had some stuff in your bag that you wanted to get out and chat about on the podcast. So let's get into as much as you want to get into, but
Yeah, I love to get in the shits, man. I can definitely talk about that.
The fury is kind of faded, but venting about chicks that have double standards and
Most definitely.
It's it is what it is.
I mean, yeah,
like,
because they
What
act
double
like they don't have the
standards,
double standard.
like somebody wants to come in and keep it no feelings, and then they get insecure because they find like an earring in your house, a condom wrapper on your nightstand.
He's like,
And
it's so
you're
ridiculous.
supposed to, you're like, I thought this was what it was like. Okay, but they react right in the moment, and then you see them react, and you're like, yo, I got feels for her too. So like you let it, you start
Let it be known.
letting it, be like that. But in the moment you trip or get a little insecure, then they want to call this a rap, and play that game. And then,
Do you think maybe our approach is too like aggressive or
our
like
approach?
as men?
I think I just found myself in a weird situation, where it's tough to basically
No,
you shouldn't
because-
shit where you eat, try to get off your own block and before you hook up with the bartenders and shit, because that shit
Lesson
might go
learned.
sideways.
Straight up. Nah, the thing is, with that is like, there's a lack of communication. Like, you know what I'm
100%.
saying? Like, that's like what it is with us. It's so weird that like how we're all like so connected and shit, but people really don't like talk about what they, you know what I'm saying, really mean or like really want how shit to go. Like they don't let it be known. It's like because there's always that thing like the cliche, I guess, like the what if, like what's gonna happen, what's supposed to happen, so like we're kind of traditional in our ways of, not letting everyone know like our feelings and like how shit
I think
should
there's
go.
problems with communication between partners in relationships, and there's problems with communications with yourself too.
Right.
About
Well, yeah.
what
People aren't
something-
honest with
Shit
themselves.
show. For sure.
Sometimes you'll be the one in the situation or in a quote unquote relationship of some sort, and you'll be the only one that kind of doesn't see what the writing on the wall is. You know what I mean?
Right.
You lie to yourself in a lot of ways. I think the biggest thing I'm always going for is self-awareness. Like, if that's the one thing I can get more of in life is self-awareness. When you don't really know, the problem is a lot of time I think we don't really know what we want. We think we know,
Exactly.
and then once you get
Right,
it,
or
you're like,
fall in love
oh.
with the idea of somebody, and then you ignore the actual shit that how they do on the day to day.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's part of it.
So good.
That could be part of it too. I mean, I think a lot of the time too, it's like, oh, well, these are the things that I prioritize that are most important more than anything else. Yeah. And you find that you're constantly looking and chasing for those things. And then sometimes it's like, oh, well, something just kind of, happens upon you. Like, oh, those don't really fill the other boxes I was looking for. But it could actually work out better, I've been on both sides of that coin, where you think you know what you want, and then you're like, well, shit, I got it, and this isn't quite it, But it's just, that's why I'm constantly trying to find ways to be more and more honest with myself, because I feel like a lot of people don't have that.
That's why you gotta smoking weed helps with that. Till you smoke too much, and then you're too self-aware.
No, because you will start like
analysis
you start
paralysis.
like for show. You start getting obsessive
You
and
think
shit.
about everything too much.
Yeah, and you know what? But I think that shit like kind of comes with like people grow every day, and I believe that like this is like the right time for us to like be learning this shit. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like going into your like 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like being aware. And I'm not saying like you can't do it before, you can't do it after or whatever, but it's kind of weird that these like same feelings, like, because we all agree with, you know what I'm saying, like with what we're saying, like we're all kind of going through this at the same, like having these revelations at the same like time of age. We all close in age, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's like when you're a kid, your parents, and I remember growing up, I always felt like I was advanced for my age. Like I knew a lot of shit. I think we all kind of were. But, you know, your parents will say stuff like, oh, when you're older, you'll understand.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember I used to always be like, just explain it.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
like-
smart. I'll figure it out. But now
no,
there's a
it's
lot of
true.
shit that I'm like, man, I really realize, like,
Yeah.
through experience. That's
Yeah.
really the only
Finally,
way you
like,
know
yeah,
how to make
experience.
sense of it.
Yeah.
Because somebody could say, hey, do this. You know, like, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You know,
Right.
clean up after yourself. Da-da-da, that kind of shit. As a kid, you think somebody's just telling you what to do. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know? And then as you get older, you're like, cuz, motherfucker, I'm going to have to clean up after you. And I don't want to
Right.
deal with that shit. You know? But, like, little things like that. You know? It's like experience is the only way you really, truly get the moral of the story. You have to kind of live it.
Yeah, for sure. Niggas been living it, man, lately.
Yeah.
Yo, fuck, I was here. Oh, shit. You were,
What?
It sounds like that part of Mo Bamba.
yo,
I know.
was that the part where you were like, people who just can't deal with life being stressful?
Yeah,
just
so I
fucking
added
deal
some
with
of the. Yeah, it's like I don't understand people that just find things to be stressed out about. I mean, look, it's easier said than done, but you can be stressed out about everything. It comes back to that having self-awareness. At some point, you have to realize this is life. I'm living it. You know, this shit's not gonna stop. Like the work is gonna continue. Like you have to just find a mindset to where you can cope with and deal with like some of the more arduous days. I mean, every day can't just be a party. Every day you can't just drink or, you know, do whatever the hell you want. Like some days you got to put in work. And those days obviously aren't as good as the other days. Flip side of that, you know, also the holidays. I love the holidays, but the holidays kind of low key suck because you're constantly on the go.
Right.
You're constantly having to make all these commitments and like, oh, well, you know, I want to see this side of the family. Like I have to, you know, like this feeling of obligation. And like I say no to so much throughout the year that even I'm like, I can't not go to the holiday stuff. I always enjoy myself. It's always fun, but it's easy to get stressed out because you're stretched out so thin and you're driving all over the place. I found a way to just kind of balance it. You know, like, okay, I'm good. But man, it is an act. Like, you know, it's an act of just patience and discipline. Anywhere you go, there's crowds.
Right.
Anywhere you go. Doesn't matter
Especially
what
here,
day,
man.
what time
Too
of the
many fucking
day.
people here
Traffic
nowadays.
been crazy this week.
Insane, man. Like everywhere you go, it's a 5-minute drive is now triple, maybe 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so many people everywhere. And that's the other thing. Is like everything I'm trying to go shopping for, I don't procrastinate many things. With shopping, I kind of do because I know I'm going to be able to do it the days that I'm off. You know, so I'm like, all right, let me do that. I'll plan it out. So I've gotten a little bit behind this year on my shopping, but everything I'm trying to buy is like sold out. I'm like, there are this many freaking insects.
Damn, bro,
the
you
planet-
live in Jingle All the Way.
Basically, but I'm like, man, there are this many damn insects.
Yeah, man, I just don't get caught up on that. I don't know. Like, I just never, like, you know, I mean, maybe it's more, I live, like, more of a bachelor lifestyle, but, like,
Yeah.
you know, I've literally only bought one gift.
When I haven't bought
for
many,
someone
that's the
this
thing.
year,
Like, I have
you
like
know,
2 or 3 things that I need to buy, and I can't
Yeah.
find any of them. And I'm like, I'm not doing much shopping. Those are literally the only things I need. Now I found ways, but it wasn't easy. I'm like, that's ridiculous. There's too many fucking people here. Is my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Shit. Like, I'm glad that, like, now, I ain't gotta give nobody no shit. Man, fuck people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
nah, I mean, it's like some shit, you know, like, I ain't really gotta, like,
Also,
I will say
it's
this.
I don't
like-
expect anything at the same time.
It's just a lot of consumerism and
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
you
big
know,
time.
Like,
Americans, just what we do is we consume.
Buy shit.
yeah, like the only people I would ever get gifts for are the type of people that understand, like, you know,
Why I'm getting you this gift.
like I'm gonna get you something, you know, like
Minor, chill.
yeah,
like,
and if I
easy.
you might see me 3 weeks after Christmas or something, and
Yeah.
you know that's when you'll get it or before, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's not, you know, you're not stuck on the actual procedure and the pageantry and the kind of fluff about it. Like I
Right.
need needed something from you on Christmas, buddy. Now we're not friends.
Well, that's the thing, and it's a lot of it's self-imposed pressure. Most of the time, people are like, "Dude, it's fine."
Bro, if
It's
somebody
like,
give you a
nah.
gift any day of the year, it feels good.
Yeah.
So like,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
like who gives a
It's
fuck?
always self-imposed. You know what I do want though, and maybe we can hash this out on the podcast. We need to find a way to create some kind of an annual feast or something like that, where the friends actually get together. Like, okay, cool, maybe a Friendsgiving or something like that, but maybe more so holiday oriented.
The crispy boys.
Just like, yeah, crispy boys with crispy boys, you know, just like, but everybody there. It's so hard to do nowadays.
What is everybody though?
Like the crew, all the crew.
The crispy boys.
Okay. I mean, you know, I just feel like you just
But like what for like?
One day.
you don't want to
dinner?
like if you schedule it, then it's like a one more thing. But
I
you
know, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I don't.
I hate having all these fucking things I gotta
Right.
be at. You know,
And
what
that's
I
the
mean?
negative
Like,
part of it, because I'm cognizant of that, because I
Well,
had.
You mean like something that like, all right, if we don't make it to any other shit, throughout
This is
the
the
year,
one.
This
This is
the
the
one that
one.
we gotta
Yes.
make it to. Okay, yeah, I understand.
You feel me? Like, don't go to
That's like
anyone
some it
except the
shit.
one.
That's like the kids are like, yo, we gotta come back and kill this.
I already
man.
freak out and like it's hard for me to make weddings and shit, man. Like I don't know, man.
What's the
You
most? So what? I feel
We
like
can attempt it,
January and February are pretty low key. I would say, just looking back at my past years.
We should do it all on Valentine's Day.
Hey, that'd actually be a slick move. Save all of us money.
Yo, I mean, crispy boy day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
The dudes in the group that don't have ladies are like, yeah. The dudes were like, whoa, slow down.
Hey, I've been talking about the other side of the committee about this, and we think we're ready for like at least a once a year, just like getaway with just the fellas playing the ambassador. You know, we'll make
I'm
this
down
happen.
for like maybe a day trip.
Day trip.
Day trip to fucking
Alan can't commit to anything. Man, it's fine though. All I need is a day. Kima. We're all gonna go to Chili's,
Just go to Katie Mills and just walk around.
yeah,
like old times.
yeah, all time.
Nah, but like, you know, I think back at like we went to Denver, like we went to Galveston a few years back.
Yeah.
You know, like something like that. But
I'm
with
always down.
everybody,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for
just-
sure.
even if it is just one day.
One night, something like
Yo,
that.
because people gotta do that shit, man. You
Alan's
gotta,
like, a couple hours. We'll see, 3 hours.
oh, man. I'll come through, show my face,
Yeah.
take a few pics.
Shake some hands. All right, man, I gotta get out of
Yo,
here.
nah, but straight up,
Nah,
people gotta start doing that shit, man. Cause life's short as fuck, bro. I lost like
that's what it
4
is.
people, like close
Yeah,
people.
no, it's true,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? Like, now I've been like, yo, what the fuck? Like, damn, that shit starting to happen. Like, that shit's
It's wild,
trash. 'Cause
man.
It's never really happened like that, you know, before. Like,
Yeah.
but like this year, it's just like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like now we're reaching the time of life where
I just feel better when I'm
a
with
lot
my
of
friends.
crossroads.
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
We're all friends.
Like, I just like, you know, like,
Yeah.
fuck, I did 80% of what I wanted to do today. Like, I'm not going to sweat it if I don't finish the extra 20% of my responsibilities. If it means I don't get that time with my people.
Hell
You know
yeah.
what
That's
I
all I
mean?
care
Like,
about, you know?
It's like,
And that's why I talk about like just dealing with the gripes, dealing with like the holidays, you know, the stress part, but like the good outweighs the bad. At the end of the day, I think about it, I'm like, what is the worst that's ever happened? Nothing. Like what I can't even think of like when did this not go my way? Like as far as like planning and being stressed out about shit, I'm like, you always find a way. You always figure it out. Just deal with it. So you can enjoy the good times with the friends.
yes.
Hell yeah. Man, that's what you got.
We are
to
friends.
live your life. Like,
Good friends.
We just keep confirming we're best friends. Yeah, all of us friends, brothers.
Yo, take it to a lighter note. Yo, y'all gotta stop posting that free so and so. You know what I mean? Like free money to Nook Nook. And
They
shit
did
like
that shit, but
bro.
you know, he's my boy.
Like niggas them niggas killed them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them niggas, dog.
In due time, please free him.
You know what I'm saying?
After a couple years, is
Like,
what you're asking for. I like the free Mike though. Free my cousin Mike, and it's like Michael Myers. Those are funny though.
He ain't do shit.
Yeah.
Yo, like, what was Mike's straight up his motivation? It was none, right?
He was just doing it for clout.
Like,
He's gonna post all his social media shit soon. That's all he was doing. Is before he had a platform. His platform was the local news. He was out here doing this for likes, and I don't even like likes.
He was early on it too. That nigga was like 6. You know what I'm saying? When he started.
He was. He was getting like the vision through his
This is real life.
camera mask. Nah.
Oh.
Yeah, was it Halloween?
Real life in canon. You know?
I didn't know he did stuff when he was 6.
Yeah, he like killed
when
his
it
sister when he
started.
was 6.
What?
Yeah. Yo, that was a raw ass movie.
I think horror movies or like those type of movies. It's probably the genre I'm not saying I dismissed them. Like I definitely had watched some excellent ones and some are my favorites, but it's the genre I'm least versed in for sure.
Because you don't really need the stories unless you're like a super buff. Like we're buffs.
Yeah, like I can't. I'm like, oh, which one is this?
Which
like,
one's the canon? Like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Speaking of big canon, it's probably a good closing note. Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I watched the first episode of Mandalorian yesterday.
Dope, right?
I liked it.
I like it. It gets better.
What actually turned me on to it was funny. There was like a Reddit thread and people were bitching like, yo, like after being so many episodes in deep, whatever, I'm starting to realize there's no real plot here to Mandalorian. It just is kind of floating back, you know. And I'm like,
which I'm fine with that.
And then somebody else was like, yeah, it's basically just a Western that, you know, is set in the Star Wars and doesn't necessarily like go anywhere. And I was like, all right, now I want to watch it. Like, because I just feel like,
well, I was talking about this with somebody yesterday. It tells a story. It's sequential. But if, let's say you were here watching episode 4 or something like that, right?
Right.
And you had somebody that just sat here, didn't know anything about it. They could watch it and enjoy it without knowing any background or what's going to happen
I
next.
think that's why I was like, okay, like, I feel like, because I always appreciate, like, the production work and value of, like, Star Wars, but now with all the fucking 15 offshoots or whatever, it's like, I'm not necessarily well-versed in, like, where we are right now with all this shit.
Right.
So, like, if you come at me with it, like, oh, this is low impact, you know, very accessible, I'm like, okay, like, that's, you know, I get my little Star Wars bump or whatever, you know.
So you said it was kind of like the forums kind of got you wanting to watch it. This won't impact you because you're kind of coming in late to the game, but they do 1 episode per week
of Mandalorian.
Yeah. So I'm as current as possible, but the finale hasn't come out. That'll be next week.
Nice.
So I kind of like it because it has extended the life cycle of it. But I also like that because it's during the holidays, so like it gives me something to look forward to, or I'm already looking forward to the holidays. But I don't know if I'd like that if it was like a slow, like July, where there's like just baseball on. I'm like, well, shit, I want to binge this show.
Right.
Yeah.
Would I be good with watching just 1 episode per week? I don't know.
Most anticipated TV release upcoming for me personally is the second half of season 6 of BoJack Horseman, and it's gonna be the end. This is the end. Netflix decided not to pick it up, and to me, that's like top TV show of the past few years for me. Like for real, yeah. Like it's
those are the ones you want them to keep going because it has such a niche loyal audience.
Yeah,
and those are the ones that are all
the
dying,
humor for me is like it's funny in multiple ways. Like it's a animation cartoon, obviously. So like always you have in the background like just kind of surface level aesthetic humor, like, you know, because it's everybody in the world of this BoJack universe, they're all animals, and so there's a lot of jokes there that can be made, like the
almost
sky's
like
a horse,
Farside.
like yeah. So like they can play off that, just like you know, little. But then there's like also the actual dialogue and a whole shit like that.
The more you watch, like you'll observe like something new every time.
Right. It's got layers, and it's crazy. It's like a really, really funny show about depression. That's also a cartoon. Yeah.
I haven't seen many of it. I've seen like one, but it was like on while I was doing stuff, so I really didn't get to pay attention.
This is one you definitely have to watch from the beginning and like kind of, you know, you don't want to.
BoJack Horseman. Shout out.
Yeah, 100%.
Mine is Power.
Power?
I haven't seen it yet.
I never actually watched it.
Bro, that shit is hilarious because like none of it ever makes sense. Like, but it has a coherent story. But like when it's the type of
is that
shit.
the one with 50 Cent?
Yeah.
It's like
I haven't seen it yet.
is the
Not to be
EP.
confused with Empire with Terrence Howard.
No,
Right.
I've never seen an episode of that.
Okay,
Except
yeah.
one time
I've seen
Terrence
commercials for
Howard's
both of these.
hilarious.
One time I like sat down and this nigga had like a big dreads on him.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? I was like, yo,
How weird would the MCU be if he stayed in it?
crazy. That was
Hey,
a pop-
no, but Star Wars 9, y'all haven't seen it yet. So
You saw it?
I saw it Friday morning. So we can't really talk about anything. After we see it, or after you see it, I'm sure you'll see it.
Mhm.
We could rehash it. But I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good about closing up most of the story, you know.
Is this the
complete.
end?
It's, yeah,
Complete
they
of
say
the
that.
Skywalker saga,
Yeah.
right?
So
Well,
Disney needs some
from
more money.
Yeah.
what I've heard,
Very
from
mixed
my
reviews.
Timeline, it sucks.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing.
that's not
A
wrong.
lot of the critics said that it was just maybe too much fan service. But I'm like, it's a fiction. It's the last one. Give me the fan service. I'm fine with that. So I think that's where a lot of the critics came in. But a lot of the people that watched it, I mean, it was more of just like, hey, a bunch of action and pretty decent story just to kind of complete everything. I mean, there's still a lot of like, why? Like, there's no rhyme or reason to a lot of it. But I'm like, I'm fine with that. You know, it was actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
But we'll talk
I mean,
more about it.
I kind of hated that the I didn't like 8. 7 was
It was
okay,
better than
like, I thought 7 was good, but then like 8 like threw it all off of me. I was like, I really don't care about none of these characters. You know? What I'm
Yeah, and like 9 kind of brings it back together.
saying? Okay.
Y'all
Kind
ever-
of ties it back, but
Y'all ever cried during any movies, like straight up, actually gotten tears?
Yes, I will tell you the first one I ever cried about. You want to know?
Yeah,
The Blind Side.
that's a quality. Yeah.
you know which one as
I
a
don't know
kid?
why, but I was like, yo,
I was thinking about this exact topic earlier. Today, washing dishes, and for some reason it made me think of that movie Crash.
That's
Crash
one.
fucked up ass.
It
movie.
is,
Yeah.
but there was that scene where like the little girl runs up and like that sudden movement, the guy shoots his gun.
Yeah.
And like he only had blanks in there, but like the dad didn't know. He thought he shot the girl, his daughter, and she goes, "It's okay, Daddy. I had on my bulletproof jacket or something like that." And he's sitting here thinking like she's dead, like damn, what the fuck? But then like he just had blanks. That's how she didn't die. But I remember like watching that as a kid. I'm like, this is the shit adults cry at in movies.
Yeah.
I cried during Last Samurai.
Tom Cruise.
I don't know, something about this scene when like they were all getting mowed down by the Gatling gun. I was like, damn, it's real shit. I cried during Dunkirk.
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen that.
It's
I hear it's great.
definitely good.
I always get like my eyes always well up anytime there's like extreme happiness. Like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
all just won the game, they all won the war, whatever. Like they just all overcame as a
You cried
group.
during Air Bud.
Nah. That is fucked up though. You only had 3 legs.
Damn.
Eventually.
Air Bud or Homeward Bound?
Homeward
Bound,
Bound, bro.
Chance.
It's about like
100%,
Chance.
right?
Yeah,
100%. There you go.
Chance.
Nah, but like,
Golden Retriever.
I was never like
Shadow.
really on Homeward Bound to like Homeward Bound 2 or something. Oh man, yo, the
Homeward
90s
Bound or The Sandlot?
Homeward Bound.
Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
I didn't really
Sandlot
like Sandlot
gets way
too
too
much.
much play. It's always on.
I
It's probably
agree.
on right now. You
Nah,
can turn on
Fyre
the
is on
cable,
right
it'll
now.
be on.
I never really like folk.
Yeah, I don't really like Sandlot too much, honestly.
Sandlot or like what was the one Stand By Me and shit like that. I really-
Yeah, we
I
had
don't
like
know, man.
leeches.
Cause I grew up on shit like
Y'all ever
Mike too. This nigga grew up on like hood movies, bro.
A lot
It's
of
the
them, yeah.
Giorgio influence.
This nigga Mike,
I
no,
feel like he
was
just like pointed in the direction, but then left that direction. But I just continued it. I continued on that path.
Nah, fucking dude, like I was having this conversation the other night actually on Friday, and I was saying like they don't have like good hood movies no more, bro. Like the last
None,
good one
dude.
was like Waist Deep.
Yeah, I
Waist
mean,
Deep.
and Get Out doesn't even really much count. It's just like a
Nah.
different
That's a whole
evolution.
nother like aesthetic and shit like that. Like
I'm kind of. I would watch the new one with that guy, the Get Out guy.
Oh, with the
He's on the
cops?
run for a crime I'm not sure if he did or did
Like
not
they shot
commit
the
it.
cops or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's
the
like it's like
Queen
a
of Slim.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a kind of a modern day Bonnie and Clyde type thing or something. I don't know. Like they're on the run.
Looks
Yeah.
pretty good.
yeah.
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 I think maybe they're underrepresented, or they don't have as many like actors for that kind of genre now. Like there's not a lot of Lorenz Tate, and you don't have a lot of rappers now that get in movies. Like, could you see Migos playing like an MC8 role and Don't Be a Menace? You know what I mean? Like any of them.
Actually, I will tell y'all the last good. Actually, it came out probably like 2015 or some shit. It was probably the last good hood movie. It was dope. Yeah, A$AP Rocky in it.
Hey, Dope was cool because
That
it
was,
also
like,
was
the last good hood movie,
it was tied to the Wood universe.
Yeah, that's what was dope about it too.
Okay.
Hell
Yeah, because he was like, "You remember
keep that.
Stacy?
Yeah.
Ask her. What do you say? Ask me to remember Stacy." That's right.
Yeah, man. Like that was See, that was like the last good, and that was the only one this whole decade.
That's it, really.
That's
I haven't
crazy.
can't think of many other ones.
Did y'all ever see the Buttercream Gang?
What's that?
Nah.
Look that shit up.
Uh,
I feel like that's like
What?
it's a movie about a child that loses his innocence.
I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh no. I'll wiki that first.
Yeah.
All right. With that note, I think we are coming close on time. So,
Yeah, man. Hey, but shit.
Alan, any last commentary, last remarks, last stories, anecdotes?
Shouts to Papa John's.
What's up with our pizza? Hey, use promo code. Nah, I wish not yet. Papa will come around, or somebody will.
Hey, yo, shout out to the people that came through to my little brother's first annual toy drive. That shit was crazy, bro. Like, I mean, it was a shitload of toys. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit.
Damn.
Like,
Chance said he made out good. He has a couple of toys in his room now.
skim some off the top. That shit was phenomenal, man. Like, I appreciate that shit. Like, because, you know, we about to start doing a bunch of shit for that. And, like, we got the basketball tournament coming up, too.
What?
So, like, that's just fucking Coach Caltern came through. Remember our coach from Mark Twain?
You remember him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The nigga with the little hair.
Yeah.
The little
Man
head.
came through, man.
Yeah,
That was my
Didn't
boy,
he
man.
have like? I remember he had like the cleanest Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Grand Am?
No, it was
Oh, a Grand Prix. Yeah.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
red. Hell yeah.
He used to watch that shit every
Hell
day.
Yeah, you'd be
Fresh,
like working
bro.
on it during class and shit. I was like,
Hey,
I
go
don't know, man.
dribble the ball for a couple hours. I'm gonna watch
Go
my
wax
car.
the Grand Prix.
Hell yeah, man. But that shit was funny, bro. To like, you know, like you came through.
Hey,
man,
but-
yeah. Hey, y'all, we appreciate the fans listening to us. Well, not friends, just listeners.
Hey,
man. We
check
ain't
us
real
on
people.
Twitter at podcast at me. Chance still doesn't like the handle, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, man. Shit, it don't matter, bro. Just follow us, man. Engage with us and shit. On Play
Let
It
us
By
know what
Ear,
you
we
think.
about to be playing some niggas' music and shit. They sent us music for us to play.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Play it
And
by
then we're
ear.
gonna rate it
Yeah,
live.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna FaceTime them while we review their shit.
We should
Most
actually.
definitely can. Hell yeah.
We could.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
follow
will.
us on.
Hopefully they take it well.
Yeah.
Hopefully they take
For real, man.
Check us on Twitter though
Y'all know the
for
vibe.
Play It By Ear. Also, that's podcast by ear at podcasted by ear.
Yeah, all this shit will be in the description of the pods, man. Whether you're on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever the fuck. We listen to
Follow,
this shit on.
subscribe, rate, review, all that
bullshit.
stuff.
All right, niggas, bye.
Happy New Year.
Oh yeah.
See you.
Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on. Pause.